What's going on, everybody? It's CryptoVision here, back again with another crypto market update. On this Thanksgiving edition, we have another membership request. We're going to be checking out FLUX. If you're interested, down in the description is a Patreon link. Get you all set up. Head over to the Discord. You can drop your requests in there. Everything is broken down in there. If you have questions or concerns, drop it in the comments. I'll get to you as soon as possible. Let's get into the video. So, sorry about that. So we got FLUX here. It has been sold off to oblivion. This is pretty brutal, if I'm being honest. Down, right, from just the high to low. 88%. Actually, it's not as bad as DGen. DGen's down 95%. So I digress. A $48 million asset, pretty small asset, right? This thing can run very quickly. Overall, it does look like you are in a C wave of your correction. So this does look like you have 5 waves down. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for your A. You have a 3-wave move up to your B. And then you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for your C. Okay? 3-wave move. Very corrective, very, very, very nice. Very nice looking. Let's go ahead and look at some levels, at least for the B wave and then for the overall C wave, okay? So for your B wave, okay, let's take this high, take this low. Pretty weak B wave, which explains the prolonged, dragged out C wave. Couldn't even get to 382, but you know, in overall terms, it's still sufficient B wave. A 3-wave move up, that's definitely corrective. In terms of where we have gone since then, right, that 1272 looks very, very, very interacted with. So we'll have one here. We're going to have one through here. We're going to have one right there. That's 1414. Okay. The one thing with this so far, right, so you do have 5 waves down, right? You have 5 waves. We already described that. But this could also just be your A wave, if that makes sense. So you have your, your A, B, C. That could be your A. Then you can come up for a B. Then you can come back down and come back down lower, right, for your C. So that's kind of the risk that this asset has so far is, this B wave, yeah, it's pretty unappetizing, to say the least, for an asset like this that is so small, right? So if we're thinking a overall retracement, right? Right, from just a low to the high, because we don't have any previous data, right? This 52-cent mark is going to be a very important area, right? Again, none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. These are just my ideas. These are just areas of interest that if I was owning this asset, I would pay particular attention to. Okay, so you got this 52 and 36 cent. So do you come up, like this? 1, 2, 3. Do you do something like that? Very well possibly could, right? Very well possibly could. In order to see higher prices, way higher prices, this 52-cent mark needs to be taken advantage of. Not taken advantage of, but needs to be passed with authority, right? No funny business, okay? Let's go ahead, and I do want to check out. It's going to be tough because this extension is going to be so far down, so far away. The 1-to-1 is right there at that 52 cent. I mean, tell me that's not an important area without telling me. Just to help out a little bit more, we'll throw in that 43-cent mark in there. So you could have some wiggle room. Look at that 618. That is beautifully, I mean, this is what you look for when you're doing Fibonacci extensions, Fibonacci retracements. You're looking for confluence through multiple measurements, right? I mean, these things measured up perfect. The 1-to-1 extension measured up perfect. The 618 on the 36-cent measured perfectly. If big if, right? If you get above the 52-cent mark, okay, you're targeting 1618. I'll say 2272 and then the 2618. Right, something like that. Possibly, I mean, if we get into like a crazy altcoin season, possibly up to this 160 to 198 range, right? Kind of lenient on throwing that up there so far. But those are some areas to the upside that I definitely, 52, once this, if you come up, if you do like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I could see something like that. Come up to that $1.09 range. I mean, you're at 11 cents. I mean, you could really shoot up to this $1.24. It's with these smaller assets. I mean, anything is possible once you get above this 52-cent mark, right? You're targeting these areas. Okay, and the way the channel works is, you come up through here like this. The first target is 80. Okay, do you just crush it and act like it's not there, or do you come up and, do you come up and kind of do something like this? That's kind of sketchy if you do that, because then you're looking, maybe you come back down, do something like that, right? And then you got to go back up. It's just you come up to these areas and you're like, okay, are we going to reject? Or are we going to keep going? So just areas that pay attention to, right? Pay attention to, especially once we get closer to those areas, because I think assets are getting ready to run. Then we'll see. In terms of this last correction, let's invert this. All right, I don't just like saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 C wave. Right? Let's put some measurements on. Let's see if I'm somewhat close to what I'm talking about. Oh, that's not gonna work. Let's see what we're talking about right here. I do want to make it a little bit bigger. So we can see it. Look at that right there, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, this is why you're subbed to the channel. This is why you got that membership, right? These areas, very important, very, very key. Okay, so I do believe now that you've come up for a 1, 2, 3, come up for a 4, right? So fourth. Okay, so this is your fourth. This is right here your fifth wave right now. So what you're targeting now, right? What you're targeting is this one. I do think, do you go a little bit lower? I mean, this does look like you want to. It does look like you want to, target possibly a little bit lower. I'll get some different levels up here, but there's also a possibility that you're forming a 1, 2. Okay, so there's different possibilities. We're gonna go through right here, the 786. This is a big area right there. Right, 18, getting above 18. Let's go ahead and check out what this 1-to-1 extension would look like on the third wave, right? Because this is a pretty steep fourth wave. I mean, the 1-to-1 extension is right there. The 1272 is at 10 cents. I'm thinking, dude, it's, if you're going lower, I'm thinking it's not very much more. The 1618, man, that would be a lot. And when I say not much lower, it's relative to price. I know the percentage is somewhat like 12%, 30%. That is a lot, actually. That is still a lot. I can't say not that much lower, because that's a large percentage. This 1618 would be worst case scenario. But those are some levels to the downside. Let me move this right through there. Okay. So let me flip this around. Flip it around. Right, if this technically is a 1, 2, if this is a 1, 2, we'll go into the daily and we'll start looking at stuff. Okay. Let's have this on all the. I think this is on all the daily time frames. Perfect. RSI level. So you do have a red dot on the Fu Manchu. Not great. Do we have bullish divergence? Low, close 11, 12. Nope, no bullish divergence. This is nice though. This is nice. This is actually nice. This is nice. There's just not a lot to work on. But this is actually, you could work with this, right? You could work with this. I just don't have a, let's see here. What say you? I don't have something to work off of in terms of the last movement of this asset. Like what the RSI did at this level. I'm going to put this right through here to see, whether or not you can get above that. I do want to change this to yellow, mellow yellow. And then through here, where did you reject that? You reject up through there. You reject up through there. You kind of reject at the same zones, huh? What about through here? I'm going to do this. Throw this on there like that. I don't want this on the daily though. Perfect. What about this? Not on the daily. No, don't need that on the daily. You know what? We can leave that on the daily. That's fine. I do want to check this out through here. This last rejection, like right through here. Like right there. There we go. Looking to get above there. So we're at the bottom. Let's see what we can do on the weekly. The 3-day. I mean, that's kind of what you want on a. That's kind of what you want. That's kind of what you want. You want an impulse. That is a pretty. I mean, how much did this go up? 200%. Wow. Okay, where have you retraced it? That does look like an 886. That does look like almost a full retracement, if I'm being honest. Yeah, it's right at that 886. I have this 18 cent. I'm gonna move this down to this 17 cent mark. And then to really, you know what? At this point, this 52 cent mark, I'm gonna make it green because that is a price that is a something you're trying to get. I do want to see what is the November open. What did you open at? November open. You're above your November open. You are. Let's do this. Which is key, right? It's just key. Okay. That's right at that. I mean, that's right there. That November open. I'm going to delete this red bar because we know that you got to stay above the November open. This 618 is very important, but more importantly is this 382. Right through here, this range through here, right? So now you got some levels, definitely some, close that gap because from here to here, that's a pretty large gap, right? That's a 65% gap. So there you go with that. Okay, so here's the idea. This, for us to think, for us to believe you're heading in the right direction, you got to get up through here. You got to get up through here. You can come up. I don't even really want to see a rejection at the 22 cent mark. Best case scenario is you come up and then you kind of flag out and you come back down through here and then you can go. Okay. I don't really want to see you come up through here, come back down, then come up one more time. You possibly could, but then what you're doing is you're rejecting your 382, but you're also, what you're doing is you're giving yourself momentum to get back under this, and then you can do something like that. You see what I'm saying? So you could use this rejection to then fuel your rejection from here. So, the areas of interest definitely now are that 17 cent mark. So, right, I'm targeting 17 cents. That's the first target, 17 cents. Do you just rip right through it? Right? Do you rip right through it? Possibly. Possibly, right? Possibly. Let's do this. Any of these match up? That 113, 1618. Yeah, I'm gonna keep these. These are aligning very nice. These are aligning nice. I'm gonna keep these. Definitely gonna keep these. So you definitely got some banded resistance through here, and then right in here. So let me see through here. Let me see. Check out the daily. I mean, the daily RSIs looks somewhat better. It does. There's more information, first of all. There's more information. This is on a 3-day. You're looking for a buy signal. I mean, the fact that you're above this 42, 41 level is good. Is good. But I'm just worried about the one thing I mentioned coming up through here, rejecting and then coming back down. Something like that. That's a possibility. That's why this 1706 range is very, very, very key. Okay, so 1706 is key because then you can do something like that and come back down. All right, especially with something so volatile. You just went up 200%. People have been taking profits. Just be aware. Okay. Yeah, see, people have been taking profits. You can just tell. This, I mean, dang. Okay. Yeah, your little soldiers like this, you're kind of just slowly making your way up. A little dangerous through here. A little dangerous through here, right? Slightly. Let's go through here. Let's put this on the hourly. Let's get into the hourly. Okay. Really need to close above there. Okay, so you're working this channel. You see how if I flip this down through here, it kind of looks like if I'm being honest, it kind of looks like this. And then boom, right? And boom, okay? Similar, right? Boom, boom, okay? That's what's kind of, there's some red flags going off in my head right now. That's what that kind of looks like right now. It's kind of looking like it's going to come through here and then boom. So definitely need to break out of this channel with an impulse, something like this. I mean, this impulse was crazy. Impulse was crazy. So just be aware, right? Be aware in terms of, yeah, you're coming right up to this moving average. Tomorrow's going to be key. Tomorrow's going to be key. Do you come up through here and reject your moving average? And you possibly come down through here, and you're looking at like a three-wave move. Three-wave move. A lot of profits were taken. So this can go away. I do want to see this on the 4-hour and then this on the 4-hour. Pardon me. There you go. So just if you're new to the channel, I do when I take these trend lines, I like getting both fake outs to the upside, fake out to the downside. So this does look corrective. It does look corrective. So at this point, right, I mean, you're looking like you want something like that and then come back down. That's what it kind of looks like. It kind of looks like you want something like that. So be aware of this channel, right? Be aware of this channel. Coming up through here, right? Coming up, you got a band of resistance through here. All right, got a band of resistance. You kind of broke out once right through here and you back tested. So if you can do that with an impulse, and when I mean impulse, you need like a candle. Not obviously that's crazy, but it can't like 10-15% to get through. You got to get through this 15%. You got to get through that. Yeah, kind of going sideways. Yeah, get through that. Definitely need to get through that. RSI is showing promise. I mean, there's mixed signals, right? So I've been saying, it does look like it wants to go down, but then you come in right through here, and you got a RSI where, you're coming through here, you're bouncing off the 4-hour. Bouncing off the 4-hour. You have a green dot on the Fu Manchu with momentum. Okay, with momentum. I do want to see. Yeah. I'm gonna leave this on through here like this. Maybe you come back and back test. Boom, 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 baby. Right? So upside targets, you're still looking for 17 in a you know, impulsive way. Fast. You don't want to keep grinding up like this. If you just keep seeing small candles, even though it's green, I know green candles, they're not always the best, right? If they're just kind of grinding up, yeah, you're coming down. Okay? You need an impulse, right? Need an impulse. In terms of, I can look at, you know, this fib retracement through here, just down through here. 786, 618. Yeah, I mean, what do we got so far? I mean, this does look 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. And then what the heck is down through here? This is, see, this is where it starts to get ugly, where it's just drizzling. Like it's kind of just drizzling and drizzling and drizzling and drizzling. All right, this does, let me invert it for you. Let me see through here. Look at this 1, 2, buckle my shoe. Yeah, right at that 1618. Like this does look. Yeah, the macro is really showing a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what it's showing. I know the RSI on the 4-hour looks good. I know it, but if I'm owning this asset, I'm thinking, you know, I'm waiting for this. I have this 1082 level set. If this doesn't hold, there's no reason why you just stop right there. I don't think there'd be a reason why you stop right there. I think you'd come down through here, take out this, because this ultimately isn't a 1-2 setup. There's no This one's tricky too. This one's tricky just because you just went crazy. All right, this one is tricky. Let's see. You do have 5. You do have 5. I know it. I know it. I'm getting my bearings. Have your 5th wave. You didn't even get up to your 786. I mean, it could be a truncated 5th. Yeah. I'm watching this channel right here. I really am. I'm watching this channel. This channel is going to be pretty important, right? If you close down below through here, then yeah, you're more than likely coming down through here. Okay. If you can get back up in here and do something like that, that's what you want to see with this. You just want to get, the reason why it's so difficult is you want to get out of this. This right here is not something you like to see, because again, I'll flip it around for you. Right, when you're looking at something like this, right, you're up, you're kind of flagging out, and then it looks like you want to do that. I'll do it one more time. Right. Okay. So those are the levels I have. Those are, you know, I would definitely have some of those marked, alerted, right? 17 cents, big level. 22 cents is probably the biggest level you can think of right now. 22 cents and 52 cents. These two levels are huge. You get above 22, right? You're taking out this relative high, so now you got a higher high, okay? And then this 52 cent is huge. This is the biggest thing, okay? To the downsides, right? There's 2 levels I have to the downsides. Well, 3 technically, because you got the November open. That's 1082, 842. Sorry, yeah, 8 cents. 8, yeah, and then 524. Worst case scenario. The only thing I see doing down through here is like some devastating news. If you're just continuing a correction, right? I don't see why you can't just come down through here, touch this, take everybody out, and then reset again. So, you kind of got, like, if you're looking for setups to the upside, you kind of want setups like this, right? Not like this. This is kind of what you're doing right now. That's a great example. This is what you're doing right now. You're kind of just creeping up and then boom. Creeping up, then boom. And then you go. And then you go. Okay? So I appreciate you stopping by for the views. If you are interested in the Patreon, it's in my description. Like I said, you get to vote on videos. You get Friday videos, which will cover profit-taking strategies, macro analysis, and then, all obviously questions, concerns, and all that will be answered in there. So, as always, I thank you for your time. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy your family, enjoy your friends, enjoy the food. Until next time, take it easy. Peace.